Howdy, with this video, just want to go over an example of the first two paragraphs of essay number 2. Some of you have asked for a sample essay, and I don't have one. This is my first time using Lulu and New for an essay assignment, and for me it's pretty exciting. We're getting to write about things, something nobody else has probably ever thought of before, so kind of doing original scholarship here. It's kind of fun, at least on my side. Maybe for students it's not quite so much fun. But let's take a look at Madison's here. She's doing a good job. And by the way, if I ever throw up one of your essays, it's because you're doing it right. There might be a couple of mistakes I don't want to go over, but that's probably because a lot of other people are making the same mistakes. But Madison's on the right track here. She's going to start off, introduce Brian Johnston's essay, give a quote from it, and then tell us what she thinks Johnston's saying in that quote. So here, a dollhouse, and notice play titles are italicized, no quote marks. By Henrik Ibsen, represents several aspects of realism. According to Brian Johnston, one of the ways that realism is represented through this play is by the living stage set. Johnston states, one problem she has here, quotes of 4 more lines are long quotes. And if I'm writing in your drafts or your essays that I want you to offset the long quotes, I don't know if I can delete that. Yeah, there you go. I want you to separate it from the rest of the paragraph, come up to this increase indent button, and there's one of these on Google Docs as well. Long quotes do not get quote marks unless they're in the original. The period ends the quote. A little different than all the other ones where the period comes after the citation. And there you go. We have an offset long quote, and that's the way a long quote should look like. But she gives her a quote from Johnston. I'm not going to read that whole quote to you. But then she comments on the quote, tells us how it's supporting what she's saying. The ever-changing set allows the viewer to acquire a sense of the change that happens within Nora throughout the play. Nora goes from an obedient, seemingly innocent wife to an independent woman who realizes that she is so much more than Torvald's little lark. So she's explaining what the quote's saying. Then she's decided to go on to McLeod. There's different ways to do this. This is not a formulaic essay where everybody's going to be doing the exact same thing. So if yours is a little different, but I'm saying, hey, you're on the right track. Keep going. don't let me dissuade you otherwise. But here, similarly, Scott McLeod suggests that an important aspect of comments is the inclusion of all 5 senses. Then she gets into the same thing. She tells us where she's getting this idea from. Again, book titles are italicized. They're not in quote marks. One thing that she could have there is a quote from McLeod. She's kind of summarizing what he's saying, which is perfectly fine. But I want to see a quote in there for a good sense of example, so I can, kind of go back to that part of his TED Talk and see what she's talking about. But maybe then she finally gets to her thesis. Johnston's idea about a constantly evolving set is present in Lulu and New through the continuous alteration of Lulu's environment. McLeod's proposition of the incorporation of all 5 senses being an important facet in comics is represented in a dollhouse by the changes in set. She's doing a good job of juxtaposing those critics and applying the comic critics' views on a dollhouse and Johnston's views to Lulu and New. That's exactly what I'm looking for. She's on the right track here. A couple of things to go back and fix maybe, but a good example of what these first 2 paragraphs should look like. And it's clear where she's going to be heading with the essay, and she's doing exactly what the assignment's been asking for. Hope that helps a little bit, just to kind of see it in action. I know sometimes, particularly in internet classes, you feel like you're kind of all alone out there. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Just wanted to keep this short as a quick example. Again, most everybody's on the right track, and everybody's doing different topics. It's really interesting to consider what these essays are going to look like. But again, if you have questions, let me know. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.